Okay, y'all. So, I just got done eating lunch and I was watching a video that Chad did. That's usually when I watch videos. So a lot of times I might not comment on somebody else's video in my video because I didn't see it until after I did my video. So, yeah. So Chad was talking about doing a partnership. And over the years, especially in the very beginning, over the years, I probably had like 4 people that want to be a partner. That would be, well, I was wrong to say that. Over the years, I've had every guy that's ever worked for me want to be a partner. Everybody wants to be a partner, right? But after you do this for so long, I don't, for me, and this video is going to be directed toward what my thinking. I may not word everything just right and everything. I'm not trying to tell anybody what to do or what's bad or what's good or anything. But I agree with some things that Chad was saying. In the very beginning, when neither one of you got nothing or close to nothing, then a common goal is a lot more attractive, right? And if you're young, we'll use Chad's age as an example. This is not Chad, but just as an example. If you're 17 to 22 or 23 or something like that, well, that's a little bit young to really be, and I'm talking about me, to be mature enough to be able to put a partnership together. And because there's a whole heap of unknowns. Well, number one, you're 17. So what you like today, you might not like tomorrow, right? But then your partner, what he likes today, as far as career goes, he's a diehard and he's in it to win it all the way until he retires. So that right there is going to set things up already. And I'm not saying that it can't be successful, because I think it can, but it's going to have to be where everybody is on the same mental wavelength as far as this is it. This is the the thing that I'm going to do for my career. Because if you're not all the way in, then you're doing a disservice to your partner that may be all the way in. And if he's not all the way in, the same thing. But at 17, 18, even up to 25 or so, there's a lot of things in life that you need to know too. We can make it about, the business, making money, earn more than you spend, basically, right? But there's a lot of skills that are required to really do this long term. And there's a lot of situations that have got to work out in your favor. I mean, there's so many things. If you're young, well, when you start the business, you don't have a wife, and 3 years later comes kids, and see, that changes the dynamic of things. Because maybe this guy has no kids and this guy has 3, but they're 50-50. Well, if he's got 3 kids and he ain't got no kids, he probably not going to be able to donate and dedicate as much time to the guy with no kids. If he's married, got kids, got a wife, and he don't, not that he's a bad guy or nothing, but he just ain't got married yet. And then, a lot of things can happen. You get married and, I don't know, you have to move. A lot, at that age, I'm talking about at that age, that would be a big thing. But at that age, I was not mature enough to know that, right? That things change. People evolve in different ways, and people grow and learn life in different ways. So at the end of the day, they could be thick as thieves in high school, and now they're, at the end of the day too, I mean, think about it like this. This is just part one here. If, say you got buddies in high school, right? I mean, I'm speaking for myself. All the friends that I had in high school, not all of them, but yeah, I mean, what ends up happening as you get older, even my bestest buddy, you know, even my bestest girlfriend, I mean, you know, people change, situations change. And so I don't really, you know, when I don't really have any high school friends that are my friends, right? So, and why is that? Because as we grew up and we got out of high school, college, or whatever, you know, other things became more important, right? You know, a family, a job, a career, college, whatever. You grow, mature. And so that's going to be the number one thing, and, you know, that I would be weary of if I'm really young. But then again, the only way to really start a partnership business, if you ask me, in this work, I can't speak to any other business, in this kind of work, is you got to start out together with nothing. That is key. He can't have more than me in the beginning, and I can't come in with more than him in the beginning. So if you're out here and you're doing and you're doing like I am, you're successful to a certain degree, for sure. I don't like to talk about how successful I am. I'll wave the money around, joking around and stuff, but you're successful to a certain degree if you have made it in the business as long as I have, because if you wasn't, you wouldn't be in business. But if you're starting out, it'd be like somebody coming to me right now and saying, "Hey, Ray, I want to be your partner." Well, I'm going to look at him like he's crazy. I mean, if he's really for real. Because one thing that he, you know, well, what's he bringing to the table? Oh, he's got a little landscape business too. But how do I know? I guess I would have to know. How do I know what his numbers are? Are they really those numbers? Are they really that friendly? You know, for me to join mine with his. And at this stage, and I'm talking about for me, at this stage, why would I do that? Because I certainly don't want to give up half the money. And I'm certainly not accustomed or would be willing to run every purchase by my partner, because I've been doing it for so long by myself. But there's no way that I could take on a partner. There ain't no way. You know, not only physically, but mentally as well, because they might have been doing things different than me. And if they approached me to be a partner, to become a partner or whatever, and they have a business, my red flags are going to go up in my head. Well, why does he want to be my partner if he's got his own gig going? Why would he? You have to ask yourself that, right? I'm going to think that that his business is not all that great, and that's why he wants to merge it with mine. And then, of course, the power struggle that would happen if somebody came in business with me. And that's why there's just no way that I could do it. I'm not built like that. I'm too set in my ways and too want to run shit myself to let anybody come in. And 9 times out of 10, if they want to be my partner, they're probably not going to have nearly the experience that I have. You know, I mean, they may, but they may not. Probably not, though, because I've been doing it a long time. And guys that have been doing it a long time They're not at well, guys that have been doing it a long time like me, they're not trying to get into a partnership with nobody because they know better. The only way they would get into a partnership with somebody is if they see some struggles coming over the hill. If they see some problems coming down the pipe at their business, whether it be somebody suing them, a divorce coming up, or something. See? And then if you're me and somebody comes to you and wants to be your partner, how would I do that? Because I can tell you right now, if you ain't got a couple $100,000 at least, I'm not even going to talk to you about it. Well, Ray, that's crazy numbers, man. That's why I know, because what you can't pay for, if you're trying to be in partners with somebody, what you can't pay for is the sweat equity that I put in when there was nothing. You can't pay for that. That's something that ain't on paper nowhere when you look at the value of a business or whatever. I don't think I would be more, if it were possible or whatever, I would be more liable to sell the business than become a partner. Sell the customers, whatever, however you want to look at it. But sell everything, right? Except for the skid. Just saying. Except for the skid. So, another thing that we don't understand and we don't know is that at 17 years old, we don't know really what we're good at. We don't know if we can even do this kind of work. Physically we can, but can we do it mentally on a high level and efficiently on a high level? I might be able to. My partner might not. That's a problem. Because I'm going to be thinking one way, he's going to be thinking another. Now, if you're 17 years old, well, you don't know anything. So it's a lot easier to get on the same page with each other. But you don't know nothing. I mean, both of you together don't know nothing. And so at that age, probably, maybe not everyone, I'm sure there are exceptions. At that age, you probably have not had to sacrifice money for equipment. And other than through mom, dad, uncle, granny, or whatever. I'm talking about where you're out there and you're buying $15,000 lawnmowers and you're making the call on that. I'm not running that by my partner. And see, that's where it would be a power struggle. And maybe I'm just, I am who I am. But it's hard to go back and say what I would do when I'm young and don't have any resources. I mean, but if either two things are going to happen, you're going to have a successful business or you're probably not going to be friends anymore. One or the two. Not always, but there's going to come a time where unless at 17 you or your partner are mature enough to come to the other one if they don't want to do it anymore or whatever, then you're going to have me showing up and he ain't showing up, but he's getting half the money. There ain't no way. And I guess I'm biased because I've been doing it so long by myself. But I can see some good things about it too. If you can get past the initial 5 years, okay? The first 5 years are going to be rough because, a new business is rough enough. Being in business with your buddy is, it may be easy to begin with until a lot of money starts getting made. And then, the more money, more problems. And that applies here too. And then, of course, it's always about how each individual person is built. some people are built in a certain way where they don't care nothing about fancy clothes and fancy shoes and fancy stuff. I'm one of those guys. Now I like nice stuff, but I'm not buying Louis Vuitton, and I'm not making a fashion statement out here. Though I do like nice clothes and nice work shirts and stuff. And y'all know I love nice equipment. Ain't gonna have nothing but nice equipment. But if you're young and you put your resources, what little you have at that time, together, and you evolve and grow together, then that would be ideal. Because then I can bounce ideas off this guy, because he is a counterpart. He's not an employee, right? See, I know me. If somebody were to come on and be my partner here, I would treat them like an employee, and that would be a problem for them, right? Because I don't see me changing things a lot at this point. I'll be honest, man. He might come in with all these fancy, flashy ideas, and younger than me and everything, and those might be a lot of good things, but he's gonna have to show me, right? And that's why he probably wouldn't be able to be a partner with me, because before I let you be a partner with me, you're gonna have to bring me something to pay to get in with me. Well, damn, Ray, you cocky as hell, man. No, I'm just telling you the truth. The sacrifice is taken to get to 19 years in the game and evolving. And I don't need a partner. That's, some people, I doubt many 20-year seasoned vets, but some people may realize that they're good at this part of the business, but not good at that part of the business. And I realized that a long time ago with me, but I ain't had no choice, so I had to accept and take on all roles in the business. But anybody trying to come into this business, I'm going to be weary of them, because if you're so good, why aren't you doing it yourself? Or if you're so good, why is your business not successful? Mine is, and we live in the same area. So that's going to be something that I know I'm not going to have a partner. I'm just saying some of the things that I would be looking at if you're thinking about being a partner or approaching someone for a partnership. You got to bring something to the table other than willpower. You got to have more than that to approach a guy like me, because, see, I know that 10 years from now, I'll be ready to slow the business down and step back. And anybody that comes in the game, that's going to help them make more money. See what I'm saying? And they'll have more power. Because if I'm not running the day-to-day operations of the business, then that means they would be. And if I'm involved in the business like that, then I would have to trust their judgment. And if I don't trust their judgment, then it's doomed. Do they make good decisions? Do they make rash decisions? Or do they get shiny ball syndrome? Are they reliable, accountable, responsible? All those things. Will they do the right thing when they don't have to? All those things. And you don't really know that if you're 17-year-old buddy and you and him been buddies since y'all was 14. And now you're 17 or you're 20. And each individual is changing every day. Their brain could be growing together or apart. It happens all the time, especially with married couples, and that's pretty much what you would be. Because if you start a business, you're probably going to be in it to win it. I mean, I'm not half-stepping. If I start a business at 17, while I'm still at home with mom and dad, and I'm mature enough and can see the future far enough without getting overwhelmed, then I'm in it to win it. But see, most 17-year-olds aren't built like that. Most 21-year-olds aren't built like that. And then by the time you hit 30, if you've been in business 2 or 3 years and you have any little taste of success, you ain't trying to share that with nobody. Beyond the money. It's beyond the money. It's about implementing a plan. But these are just some of the thoughts on that. And I don't really ever think about that anymore. And most successful businesses are not going to want to be a partner with anybody. And then most young men or women that want to be partners with their buddies or whatever, a lot of times they're too young to to know exactly what they want to do with their life. It ain't always like that, but it is. Now, when you get, I would say, premium, if there is such a thing, premium partnership timing would be, as far as your age goes, would be, I don't know, 23 to 27, something like that. That window there in your life where you could be partners with somebody and you grow together. And by the time you're 23, you figure some stuff out. Not everything, but some stuff out. And then, like those guys at Southern Lawn Care up there, I don't know if they're related or whatever, but I've talked to dude a bunch of times, man. Big shout out to those guys. They're in my state, man. They're just way up north. But they were working a regular job. And now I think this year they're going in both feet in. And if you're going to do it, that's when that's you got to go in with both feet. And since y'all both are starting out in the same spot, then that is the only way it'll probably work. And then maybe as you guys get older and get employees where you're not doing all the work, well, then the roles can change a little bit. If it's just me and my partner and we're doing the work, I'm going to want him to do as much work as me. I'm not going to want to have to do all the invoicing and everything while he spends time with his family. And I'm not going to want to have to do all the maintenance on the equipment while he spends time with his family. See? Because then that's going to create animosity or, a problem. It's got to be 50-50 if it's 50-50. If you're getting 50% of the money, then it's got to be 50-50. But if you're a seasoned vet, you're probably not going to want to do that, especially if you got success at all. Why would you? Why would I jump into the unknown when I'm living the known and I can see the future? If I jump into a partnership, I don't know what kind of baggage he's going to really bring when times get rough. Is he going to allow me to forecast like I've been forecasting for the last 19 years? It seems to work out okay for me. And I'm not going to want nobody out here that's going to sit in an office all day. So, but also you got to look at it, is it going to a career move? And if you're 17, 18, 21 or whatever, you don't know if it's a career move or not. You don't know. You're not 100% sure. There's no way that you can know. And so it could definitely be a stepping stone to learning some business, learning a little bit about life, and learning about how to be responsible and accountable to someone else. You know, is it going to be will it be a successful business as a partnership? Well, if everybody's in it to win it, then sure, why not? Especially if you got wives and they want to come and help too. You know, they want to do the books or whatever, you know, anything. Then everybody's vested, right? Or if you wanted to start out with you and your buddy and y'all are just innocent kids, you don't really know anything about partnership and how money changes people or anything. You just trying to do that $60 lawn, and you know, and both of you are hustlers. If you're two hustlers out here, then you got to hope and pray that you're hustling on the same plane, if you will. Because my definition of hustling might not be yours. My time management skills might be 10 times better than yours. So, and those are all unknowns until you get in business with somebody. Then you start monitoring that kind of thing. Well, man, shoot, I went over there by myself and I did them 2 acres in 2 hours. He's been over there 3.5 hours and he ain't done yet. But we're making the same money. Meanwhile, while he's being inefficient over there, I'm super efficient right here. And then you learn what each other's strong suit is. And you have to be mature enough to admit that, and to look in the mirror at that, and to look at what's looking you back in the mirror. And you gotta learn to self-analyze at what you're good at and what you're not. And you can't get upset when your partner, who has a vested interest in you, because you're his partner, when he has a, you know, you can't get mad at him when he calls you out. And I'm bad about that. I get defensive. I've never had a partner in a business, but I've been in relationships and stuff where I get defensive, even though they're right. Because I wasn't mature enough or didn't have the ability to self-analyze, you know. Or I guess it could be a short-term thing, right? Where, you know, you're in college or whatever, and you and your college buddy want to get some beer money and stuff, and y'all start a business, and next thing you know, it blows up on you. Boom. And now you're like, man, why am I going to college? But your buddy, he's trying to get his engineering degree. What do you do then, right? To me, it just creates, you got to have a coach. You got to have a head coach in the business. You got to have a shot caller. You got to have somebody making the decisions for the business without having to have a board meeting every time something comes up. You know. And that person has got to make good decisions, of course. He's got to make rash decisions, and he's got to make calculated decisions and calculated gambles. Because if you're in this business right here that I'm in, and there's a time probably from year 4 or so to year 7 or 8, that was a real rocky time, because the first 3 years, well, I'm just learning how to actually do the work and make money at it. And learning equipment and all that. But you can make some really bad moves early on, and you don't ever make it to year 8, 9, or 10. Much less to 17 or 18. You'll never make it that far. Because your partner, not you, your partner done made a bad move. And he talked you into signing off on it. and you went with your emotion and not with your business instinct. Not that you have a lot at age 17 or 20 or whatever. That's why, if you're going to do it like that, everybody's got to be in it the same depth. And that's going to be, I would venture to say, if you started a business with your college bunkie or roommate or high school roommate, you probably ain't in business very long. It's not a success. There are exceptions, though, I'm sure. I know there are, but if I had to gamble and take a guess on two buddies that are high school seniors, just graduated high school, and they want to start a lawn care business, and I had to bet that they're going to make it 15 years, I would bet against them. Because at that age, you just don't know what you don't know, and I don't know what his reaction is going to be to losing $20,000 or what his reaction is going to be to earning $200,000. But you can make wrong moves. You can invest in the wrong equipment. You can let your money build up that people owe you and not get paid. You can go under behind all that. So, no, I ain't going in partners with nobody. I can't. And I'll be honest with you guys, and this video is getting a little bit longer than I thought it would be. It always does. I'll be honest with you guys, I'll say this in closing, that someone could bring me $300,000 in cash, and I would not sell my business or become a partner with them. So that tells you right, and I know they're going to be all bullshit, Ray, you would do that. No, I wouldn't, because then what would I do all day? Or something. It's hot out here, y'all. Deuces!